It started innocently. Enough Karen began parking her car directly in front of the homeowner's house. At first it seemed like a coincidence, but soon it became a daily ritual. Her driveway remained empty, yet she chose to block the view and inconvenience guests. Packages piled awkwardly. Visitors had nowhere to park, and the once clear curb turned into her personal lot. The homeowner tried to brush it off, but frustration grew with every passing day. Kira knew it wasn't illegal, which made it worse. She flaunted her entitlement, daring anyone to challenge her, but patience was wearing thin. Neighbors whispered about Karen's antics, but no one intervened. She wasn't breaking laws, but she was breaking courtesy. The HOA dismissed complaints, stating that public curbs weren't assigned to homeowners. That technicality gave her all the leverage she wanted. Each morning, she parked her SUV inches from the mailbox, forcing delivery trucks to stretch awkwardly. Guests visiting the homeowner had to walk blocks away just to find space. The situation was maddening, but direct confrontation would only lead to drama. Instead of losing sleep, the homeowner began thinking differently. If they couldn't stop Karen legally, maybe creativity could. Ideas swirled: cones, fake construction signs, even homemade barriers, but most would violate HOA rules. What was allowed, however, was decoration. Yard enhancements were encouraged as long as they were tasteful and safe. That is, when inspiration struck, the homeowner could transform the curb into something so uncomfortable that Karen wouldn't want to park there, all while staying perfectly within the rules. The plan wouldn't block her car outright, but would make every inch of space inconvenient. It was a subtle form of resistance, legal, clever, and impossible for Karen to fight without exposing her own pettiness. The game was on. Over the weekend, supplies appeared. Decorative rocks lined the strip of grass by the curb. Solar-powered garden lights marked the edges, glowing brightly at night. A few oversized planters, filled with prickly ornamental shrubs, completed the setup. Everything looked neat, even charming, but it changed the dynamics of the curb entirely. Parking there was suddenly tight, requiring awkward angles and careful maneuvering. Karen's oversized SUV, once comfortably nestled, now barely fit. She tried pulling in, her tires brushing against rocks and bumping close to planters. Frustration flashed across her face. The space wasn't blocked, it was simply miserable. Karen complained to the HOA, claiming that decorations were obstructions. Inspectors came, measured, and left unimpressed. Everything was legal. The rocks were landscaping, the planters were tasteful, and the lights improved safety. The complaint was dismissed. Karen's anger grew as she realized her weaponized parking spot had turned against her. Neighbors chuckled quietly as she struggled to wedge her SUV between the obstacles, scraping a hubcap once in the process. Word spread quickly about the clever setup, and the homeowner earned quiet praise for finding a solution without breaking rules. Karen, however, wasn't ready to surrender. She tried retaliating by parking further down and walking up with exaggerated annoyance, but the effect wasn't the same. Her favorite spot, once a symbol of control, now mocked her every time she passed it. The homeowner, meanwhile, doubled down on the creativity. They added a small bird bath and decorative stakes shaped like butterflies, further shrinking the space. Children admired the garden-like curb, and neighbors often stopped to compliment the setup. What had started as a petty conflict had blossomed into a charming improvement to the block. Karen's war was turning into her own humiliation. By now, Karen's parking habits were broken. She avoided the curb entirely, settling for spots farther away. Her grumbles didn't go unnoticed, but no one sympathized. The neighborhood saw her behavior for what it was: entitlement. Meanwhile, the homeowner enjoyed hosting guests without frustration. Visitors laughed at the story, admiring the colorful, lighted curb that had once been an annoyance. The HOA, which had ignored the original problem, now praised the community beautification project. The irony was delicious. What Karen had tried to use as a weapon of control had become the homeowner's most celebrated victory. In the end, the homeowner's curb became a small landmark. The decorations stayed, adding charm to the street while ensuring Karen never reclaimed her spot. Neighbors began following suit, adding planters and lights to their own curbs, turning the block into one of the most attractive in the community. Karen, defeated, kept her distance, never mentioning the parking feud again. The homeowner reflected on the outcome with quiet satisfaction. Sometimes the smartest response isn't confrontation or complaint, it's creativity. By turning a petty parking war into a beautification project, they didn't just win, they changed the entire neighborhood.